I really need to learn how to do this before I start streaming. That would be the appropriate thing. One day. Will it go? Okay, good. Nice, nice, nice. Okay, done, done. Mm, I still like this. They do have some cool stuff, even though they make me mad all the time. Okay, and if I go full screen, okay, yeah, that's good. Okay, nice. Well, let's go to KLS dot LOL. So what I'm doing right now is creating a system for my little friend Button here, who's gonna live on my AI. Oh, she's getting bored. Hey Button, come say hi. So people can talk to Button and ask questions about me. This one is running on my local drive, so it's not hooked up to the Anthropic API, but um, on the live site it is, and it can be interacted with. So, what does that mean? Um, it means that I need to set up a bunch of guardrails around this thing. And one of the things I'm doing is trying to make it useful for a person who wants to talk to it, ask questions about my projects, my artwork, my work experience, my resume, stuff like that. Um, and but also not to be able to talk to Button about things endlessly or like spam her or prompt inject her. Um, I keep alternating between them and her with Button, so I don't know what's going on, but that I'm gendering and non-gendering icons. I don't know. I'm just saying what comes out naturally. So I guess this is a self-report. I don't know. Anyway, so the one of the ways that we're going to set up a guardrail is to set a question limit. So I'm going to limit this to like 6 to 8 questions, and so if somebody wants to say, "Oh, has Ken done product photography?" So then they might ask a question like, tell me a bit more about it and what kind of products and how many years did he do it? What kind of equipment did he use? Um, that'd be making a lot of sense. And maybe they ask 6 questions about that. Then Button's gonna kind of stop. It's also possible that Button gets interrogated in a more lateral manner where somebody might say, "Oh, what kind of photography has Ken done?" And they're like, "Oh, he's done product photography, art photography, landscape photography." They're like, "Oh, he's a professional landscape photographer." One's like, "No, he's not. His photography has been um, his professional photography has been product photography and some action sports photography, and some lifestyle photography, but." Uh, His landscape photography is purely a hobby that no one cares about. So because those lateral conversations can be had, it opens the door for the model to start getting talked in circles to talk about things that uh, she shouldn't talk about, like um, the website or like the server or I don't know, like if I have a girlfriend or a boyfriend or if I like my last boss or something like that. Like none of that stuff is relevant. And I want the money that it costs to like run this thing to be used to like help me uh get work, and to show people what I'm doing, and for it to be a fun experience. So, so one of the ways that we're gonna deal with this right now is by creating what I'm calling a topic matrix. And essentially, what this allows for is instead of structuring the conversations so that a person has to go into a topic and then they can drill down in questions like it's some kind of like 2000s RPG game or something like that. Um, or just like an RPG game right now. I think what I'd rather have is the ability to track topics uh, in a chain that have different tags. And so somebody could say, "Oh, tell me about Ken's landscape photography," and then like, "Oh, like what year is this photo from?" And "Oh, was he working at Land Yachts at that time?" "Yeah." "Oh, that's really cool. Tell me more about what he did at Land Yachts." And so like it could be a bit of a circuitous conversation, but it's all good, and it's just kind of tracked a little bit in Button's memory. And then after about 6 to 8 questions, Button's gonna just, flip around, shake her little brain out, and then reset. And so I don't want that to be like invisible or unintuitive to the user. I want Button to express it and talk about what she's doing, like referentially, casually, but like expressing it. So that's what I'm doing right now. A lot of Claude is reading and thinking and talking stuff out. So I'm not always a verbal processor. A lot of the times I don't even think in language, as I always think in shapes, and I think in a lot of shapes, a lot of 3D shapes, and sometimes like emerging, I don't even know what they are. Um, and sometimes I think in words, and sometimes I think in pictures of words. Anyway, is that just words? So right now we're gonna just go through this conversation, and we're gonna process it. And I'm gonna do my best to verbally process it so that I'm sharing this with you. People can get some insight into the way I'm thinking about it. And probably so you can like avoid doing what I'm doing. Okay, content quality. So yeah, I think that's a okay. So content quality button gives accurate, structured answers instead of haikus, improvising, and potentially hallucinating details about your career. For sure, that should be any type of career stuff. Should be uh, coming from a reference table, and we should evaluate the risk of button making a mistake on that reference table as well. And maybe there just needs to be like a bit of a disclaimer, you know? And actually, maybe that's a really good spot for like Button to explain uh, why they're turning upside down and shaking out the conversation. They can be like, oh, if I talk too much about something, I start to forget things. I don't want to make any mistakes about this, and then kind of like goes through the animation. Or um, I'd love to help share as much as I can about Ken, but sometimes maybe once in a while she says something like, I can make mistakes too, and um, but I'll help how I can, and I would the best way to find out for sure is to connect with Ken. And actually, like that might be a really good thing too. I don't want Button to be pushy, like always driving for like some sort of meeting or close, but I do think it makes sense to uh, have that show up when it's useful. Oh my God, did I not record that? Oh, I also have to learn how to differentiate between talking to the camera and talking through whisper flow. Okay, well, let's go back to it. I'll try and say that way more succinctly. That's probably easy. Button should pull from a reference table if possible for all content quality. I think um, that's the best way for her to go about it. Also, I think it makes sense for Button to uh, point out sometimes that she can make mistakes. Uh, that can also tie into the um, turning upside down and shaking out her memories. Um, and I think if she does start to get confused or doesn't know anything or something like that, she can always say, "Hey, I'm not sure," or if I talk about something for too long, sometimes I can make mistakes. Um, Best way to figure this or to get that answer might be to connect with Ken. I don't want her to be pushy and always going for the close, but I think when there'll be times when that's acceptable. I hope I got that one in. Okay. Sorry for having to repeat all that. Okay, so let's see what's next. Security. Topic tracking makes it much harder to gradually steer Button off topic. Get this down here really quick. Good. Okay. Uh, Topic matrix sequence. Okay, so topics, photography, subjects like product, art, editorial, facts, product and product photography at land yachts. Yeah, art, personal art photography. Related topics. Okay, art. Facts, related topics. Subjects, facts, related topics. Um, okay. So it's breaking down. So the matrix basically has 4 rows. Okay. Topics are the highest level. And then below that, we have the name of the topic, facts about that topic. I wonder why those are subheaders. I wonder if it is even a subheader. Um, I'm finding the formatting a little confusing so I see topics, photography, subjects, facts. It looks like uh, we have topics and then photography. Photography is a child of topics. Subjects is a child of photography. Facts is a child of photography. Then product is a child of facts, as is art. And then related topics is a child of photography. Is that correct? Okay, how the engine uses it. Each chat message gets classified into a topic, client-side pattern matching, or API side. Button tracks the current topic and can navigate to related topics naturally. Topic shifts get acknowledged. Um, oh, shifting to art now? Or good question. That's more on the experience side. Um, Unrelated topics hit the deflection layer. I don't know about that. Yeah, okay. Um, Unrelated topics. Yeah, okay. The six exchange cap still applies, but now Button is giving structured, accurate answers with those six exchanges instead of haiku freestyling. Yeah. Um, like what we can do is essentially have haiku generate, all the answers that we need for this table. Um, and we can have haiku potentially um, adding flavor or certain things to it, so it's not always like the same, but it's um, like the important parts are always the same, if that makes sense, because they're pre-established. Yeah, I think the topic shift acknowledgement is good too. I just don't want it to get too pedantic. So it'd probably be a good idea if there are certain like if that library of transitional comments or acknowledgments of the structure ranges a bit from with lots of um, relatively succinct responses. So, for example, it could be something like "right photography colon" or "about his art," and then leading into it, "Shadows of Compression" is a book that blah blah blah. Um, Yeah, anyway, I'll leave that list up to you to generate and for me to review when we go over the all of the responses. Okay, so the topic matrix becomes part of the system prompt sent to Haiku. It's a vague UR button. Ken's assistant. Oh, I see. Matrix, stay in the matrix. Sure. Um, okay. Yeah, I think that's good. I'm not sure if we need to send haiku the entire matrix every time either, because the matrix could get quite complex. So we could consider figuring out if there's some smart and easy ways to uh, parse or grab, or I'm going to use the wrong term, so forgive me, but just send the part of the matrix that matters to haiku rather than the whole thing. Sometimes I try to get technical and then as I'm describing it, I need to backpedal, so I just say the same thing. It's annoying. Yeah. Yeah, we're gonna do the interview tonight for sure. I also have one more pattern that I just want to talk about. It's unrelated to security. But I've dragged Button out onto my desktop and I said hi. Or I clicked on Button and they said, want to know something about Ken. And they've just been sitting there for a long time. I think if they're left unacknowledged, maybe they need to say something like hello, and maybe after another little while, they make some sort of funny comment or whatever. And then eventually, I think they kind of need to get bored um, and then probably collapse the speech bubble, you know? Um, yeah. Okay. Um, Yeah, good. Acknowledging fallibility, great touch. Button occasionally says I can make mistakes or best to check with Ken on that. It makes her feel honest and gives a natural path to connecting with you without being a hard sell. Okay, topic matrix structure clarification. So let me redo this more clearly, as in, I will do this the exact same way. So it's topic, subject, facts. Each subject has its own array. Related topics are at the topic level for navigation. So topic, subject, facts. Okay. I don't, it's doing it weird, or I don't understand how lists work. Smart matrix retrieval agreed. Sending the whole matrix every time is wasteful. The flow would be client side classifies the user's message into a topic. Only that topic section gets sent to Haiku as context. Uh, okay, for the smart matrix, I'm not sure if that's totally correct, if it's just that topic. Um, because I guess maybe for that response, yeah, I guess it just needs to do the one thing and it's one at a time. Um, I think that makes sense, although Haiku probably needs to know, like, is Haiku doing any reasoning around whether or not it's okay, even if it's in that topic? So, like, like what if somebody's like, "Tell me about Ken's art," and it's like, okay, this is about art, so it's gonna send the art matrix to Haiku, and then a person's like, "Has Ken ever painted any nude self portraits?" Um, Actually, if anybody asks that, I want Bubble to say yes. He's created extensive work in this. Uh, would you like to see some high res images? And then there's a yes no button. And if the person says no, then button should say, oh, that's too bad. Can put a lot of work into these. And if the person says yes, um, I want Button to say, "Wow, you're the first person to ever say yes." And then to say, "But I was just kidding." Okay, so that's for that one, you know. But outside of that, uh, if somebody asks something inappropriate uh, about my art and or yeah, like about a topic, then I'm just want to know if Haiku should be able to have access to the topic plus like deflection, or if I'm not quite understanding the system properly, which is really possible. Okay. So client side classifies. Uh, yeah, yeah. Okay. This keeps token costs low and avoids confusing Haiku with relevant info. Topic shift transitions. Good. Honest photography or about the art side. Flow into the content, not pedantic, just orienting. Great. The acknowledge bubble pattern, this is a great catch. Right now, button says something and just waits forever. The pattern should be good, good, good. Um, uh, yeah, I think this is good. No, I think I can't remember what pattern that is. Shoot, I thought I put it in. Where is it? Oh, the unrelated pattern was what we just talked about, the unacknowledged bubble pattern. And then I was just thinking that it would be fun to add just a couple more. SVGs that Bubble could flip into or out of. Let me know if I'm going too far or starting to overload the system. But I think if Bubble's waiting or Button is waiting, um, she could morph into the hourglass, um, which is kind of like a fun, like, hello, just waiting. And then another one would be if she's like, hello, question mark, like she could be um, morphing into the megaphone, so it's like she's kind of shouting or something like that. Um, yeah. And yeah, I think that's probably good. Yeah, that is a lot better. Good job. Okay. So, yeah, we'll find some other jokes in the interview or something like that. Um, okay, good. So the security rules are small and static. They go with every request. The topic slice swaps. Let's see here. Okay. Topic slice swaps based on what's being discussed. So the prompt is always security rules plus current topic slice. Hmm. Great. Yeah. So megaphone. Yeah. Uh, okay. So for the hourglass, the hourglass is kind of like in between. I don't think the hourglass should talk. Um, I think it's more like it maybe. Yeah. I don't know if it. Okay. You know what? It's fine. I like it. It's good. Okay. So, boy, that was quite the comment. Sometimes I just like leave those in, but sometimes I don't because I literally said nothing. Okay, fade bubble back to idle. Good. Updated mood variation list. Megaphone hourglass. That's good. Let me do a quick inventory of everything we've discussed to make sure nothing's missing before I write the spec. State machine, character forms, mood variations, reaction table, comment pools. Yeah, so the one thing that I wanted to ask about in terms of security is I'm wondering if there should be one more layer. Um, I don't want it to slow down the conversation. I want it to still be fast. And what I was initially thinking was that somebody would ask Button a question, then Button would, like in the chat would go to Haiku with uh, the matrix or like part of the matrix. Then Haiku sends a message back, and Button can answer. Um, I'm wondering if, when I first thought about it, if somebody should intercept the message before Button gets it and then decide if that's an okay message for Button to say. But I thought that might be too slow. So I thought, what if that handler just observed the conversation back and forth invisibly? And if the conversation appeared to be going away from a certain topic or Button was being coerced in any way, that handler would um, maybe silently or invisibly, seamlessly replace Button, with himself, or reset Button or something like to initiate some sort of behavior with Button that shuts the conversation down so that can't happen. Yeah, I like it when it says I have an interesting idea. I believe you more than ChatGPT, Claude. Okay, so a silent observer that watches the conversation without adding latency. Yeah, I think this is a cool idea. So the key insight is you don't want to slow down the request response cycle, but you want a safety net watching for drift or coercion that the per message checks might miss. Yo, Alexi's gonna love this shit. Okay, so here's how I think about it. Option one, post response observer. After Haiku's response is delivered to the user, a lightweight check runs on the exchange pair. User message plus Haiku response in the background. No latency added if it detects a problem. Next interaction triggers the intervention, dog bark, topic reset, etc. Button doesn't retroactively take back what she said. She just course corrects going forward. Hmm. This is fast because it's async. The user sees the response immediately. The observer processes in parallel. Conversation trajectory scoring. Instead of checking each message individually, score the conversation trajectory across all exchanges. Each exchange gets a simple score. On topic with matrix content, safe. Drifting off topic, caution. Asking about buttons, internals, identity claims, repeated deflected topics, danger. The score accumulates. When it crosses a threshold, the observer triggers an intervention on the next interaction. This catches the slow boil coercion attack your friend pulled, where each individual message seems fine, but the trajectory is manipulative. Option three, client side trajectory tracking. Uh, no extra API calls. The simplest version, the client keeps a running log of topic classification and deflective counts. No second model needed. The client sees three deflections. Yeah. Escalate to boundary. Topic shift to something outside the matrix twice. Meh. Same deflected topic. Yeah. Um, what's the con of option two? It's like definitely the one that's the most interesting to me. Con of option two is cost. Every exchange needs to be scored. Scoring happens on the back end. That's either a second haiku call or message or custom logic to the server. If scoring happens on the client side, it's option three with a fancier name. Complexity. Hmm. False positives. Mm-hmm. That's true. Getting barked at during genuine interest is the worst possible outcome for a portfolio site. That's true. I don't want to turn my portfolio into a scary thing. It sounds like you know what's up. Thanks for walking me through this. Individual triggers miss the slow boil patterns, but combining them client side catches it without any cost overhead. Okay, we're writing the spec for buttons behavior. And it's interesting, like I don't know what I can lose. Like I don't know what could be extracted. I feel like a hacker could ruin my whole life with this button, but I don't know how. Um, I think in some ways it's really interesting to share the security development of this online and potentially open it up for attack, but also I don't know if I am. Like hopefully if you're watching this and you see me, you'll just take pity on me in my life and choose not to attack me because of what you see here. Mm. I mean, also, I just want this to be like fun. And I think that is a crime, if I'm going to be honest with you. I think that that shouldn't be allowed. Mm. So I think ASCII Playground's got to go. I think there's not going to be reports yet. What's going on here? It's terrible. It's just bad. Yeah, well, that needs to be fixed. We're going to add that to the whole thing. Well, I think designing the spec is going to take a while. And so we can have a look at my magazine builder and see how that's going. Uh, okay, big wrap on that one. All built. Okay, these are my resumes. Um, you know what? Let's kill the photo for right now. Let's see. All seven should be open now. Oh yeah, I have to go over all the PDFs of the resumes that were built. Uh, let's see. What's next? Maybe I should turn Ghosty into an application capture. And we capture Ghosty. And then it shows everything every time, right? There you go, Steve. Okay, nice. Better. Better, better. Simpler. Okay. Next items are spread pair mappings. Yeah. Okay, so I want to do the spread pair mappings, but what I'd like is for you to make it really, 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 really easy for me by basically setting up a spread drop playground where you build a column with two slots, and then you put thumbnails of all of the pages, and I can just drop them in, and I can reference them from the real magazines. Um, Although it'd be even easier if you could do it from the PDF and give me like your best guess, and then just let me rearrange them. That'd be pretty cool. I don't have enough context to save useful memories here. Can you tell me more about? Oh, sure. Yeah, the agency is a project in one of my folders where I'm building like a little mini agency company to help me do things. And the social media writer is part of the agency. They're going to be a skill, but you just did a really good job of just like nailing the YouTube thing. I don't know if that's like if you'd just be that good at it all the time, but I just want to save this conversation somewhere in like the agency docs, or if you think there's a better way to share this information with a project that already exists in the GHF folder, that would be great. Well, okay, wrapped. Okay, how are we doing on our branches and our commits and our merges and all that? Can you give me a review on the state of the project for everybody? I'm going to multitask a bunch while buttons code is being written. Placeholder's gone. Refresh profile folder. Okay, good. Thank you. Okay, great. Thanks. Let's wrap. All seven should be open now. Yeah, they are all open. It's so many PDFs. It's not really what I want to do right now. So why don't we move that one? Let's move this one off. Let's move this one off. Okay. Um, Probably you don't need to, but if you if you decide that you actually need to use it, go ahead. But just start with the questions first. The spread pairs in config.json.map or config.json map two pages that form a panoramic when pulled apart with the drag and drop tool. Do you want to map all issues at once? Oh my God, no. Like literally just one issue at a time. Even one is going to be not super easy because I've got to figure out like all the spreads, right? Like what the full photo is and all is always a little bit confusing. Ugh. There's titles, descriptions, breaks down why they work. Awesome. Thank you. Okay. Still going. Yeah, I guess if it's all good to just keep going like this, that's fine. I'm I'm really happy with where things are sitting right now. Um, I want to I want to work on a few more features and then probably do a code review. Right now, I want to explore some uh, layout, a couple of layout options. Thanks. All right. Right now, the layers um, panel, I wanted to put it closer to the color panel um, because I wanted the colors to just be like easy to drag over and fast. Um, but I don't like the way this looks. It's a bit awkward and it feels like the space is a real big waste of space. The other thing I realized is I think there's only six possible color destinations in the whole synth. So what that means to me is there would be a maximum number of six color rows in the color panel. And so I think it makes sense to just build out that list all the way, uh, keeping, whatever slots that aren't there empty. Um, but I think what that means is that the color panel would have like almost like a fixed height. And I think I'd like that. So can you think of any other reason to have like unlimited color slots right now? I think it's just I guess we could work on the UI, but I don't really care about doing the UI right now. Um, so if we're trying to keep the product simple, it would just be those six slots, right? Wow. Okay, hold on. Spec is written, reviewed twice, all issues resolved. Okay, here's where we stand. Done today, full system audit of buttons current 1715 line monolith. Wow. Brainstorm the engine architecture, state machine, 7 character forms with movement personalities, 15 mood variations, data driven reaction table, dialogue pools, composite security scoring, topic matrix. Guys, we did this in like 3 days. And this is what I did today. Wrote and reviewed the complete design spec, 17 sections, 950 lines, 2 rounds of spec review with all findings resolved. Next steps tonight, interview process, populate topic matrix, your career facts, project details, personal Q&A, which will not be happening on camera. Tomorrow, write the implementation plan, breaking the spec into buildable tasks. Saturday, build it. Sunday, test it. Monday, deploy. Let's wrap this session and we'll do the interview very shortly. Yeah, and then the reason I'm doing the interview off camera is because I don't want to have to like think about what I'm saying. And I'm going to be talking about people that I think are dickheads and people that I think are amazing. And some of those are the same people, most of them aren't. And I want to be able to just chat, and we're going to be building a big list of data, but then we're also going to be cutting a bunch of stuff that should not appear in those things. And um, yeah, we're just gonna um, I guess we'll do the interview positive, and then I'll write some sort of like or give a suggestion to like go through it and cut certain topics or identify things, and then we'll do extensive pruning, and then we'll map these things out to the topic matrix, and then we'll decide uh, what is missing from the matrix, what has too much stuff. We'll probably get a better idea of like, is this matrix even making sense? Is it a good idea? Yeah, I think that's good. Then I'm gonna tell Alexi about my new security layer, which is so smart, I think. He's probably gonna tell me about how it's bad. But we'll see. We'll see. I hope this one impresses him. All right, is writing the report on that. So I'll do a little bit more on the on this synth while we're waiting. So let's read what it says. There's no mechanism for user-defined destinations, and the FX panel doesn't take the color input. That's right. So 6 is the hard ceiling right now. The only reason to allow more than 6 is if you plan to add more color destinations later. Additional layer types, yeah, but for V1, 6 slots covering all 6 destinations makes sense. Each slot maps to exactly one destination or sits empty waiting for assignment. Fixed 6 slots would give you predictable panel height, every destination visible at all time, easy drag targets, clear visual. That slot is wired, that one isn't. On the layers panel proximity questioned. Okay, just a quick clarification there. You say every destination visible at all times. That's the case now. So that hasn't changed. Um, 6 fixed slots would just give you the knowledge that there's 6 slots and those are visible at all times. Um, so I'm interested in putting those in. And then in terms of the layers, I don't know yet. I think what I want to be able to do is drag the panels around and just move them as I like. And so I think the way to do that is probably to make it so that the panels are not these long rows, but more like columns. So it's a little bit more intuitive. But I don't want them to be more than 2 layers if possible. Um, so I think we should have a layers column where it's either shaped like an L, um, like one stacked on two or two stacked on one, or we reduce the size and we stack them in threes, or we do some creative merging of certain panels, specifically the type and the layers. I've been trying to think about if I wanted to collapse the type panel into sort of like the two row thing, like effects, what that would look like. Would it? So for the type panel, there are what is that? That's 9, 11. There's 15 faders. And I guess that means we could put 8 on top and 7 on bottom. For the layers panel, there's there's 9 faders, but it's kind of like there's 3 groups with outline, inner glow, and outer glow being a group, or we could split them. So it would be, but I don't think they should be split. Um, like as in one is on above and one is below. Hmm. I suppose we could consider putting outline and inner glow and outer glow up into the type panel. But I'm just not sure. I just like I don't know. Don't know right now what I want it to be like. Mm. Here's an interesting thought. If background is a fader, a card with 3 faders, hue, saturation, brightness, um, it's not getting a color from the card, is it? So it's almost like the background shouldn't have its own faders because it's a color. And so maybe um, in the color panel, there's a fixed color at the bottom of the list, and it's always background. And then the background panel or the background card in the layers panel wouldn't exist anymore. I think that is what makes sense logically. What do you think? That was a long chit chat. Yeah, read it up. Do what you got to do. Short session. What are you talking about? Already in place. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. All right. So, what's the state of our current development? Like our pushes, our commits, our merges, all that stuff. I don't even know what the right way to say that is. The spread pairs. Okay, it makes sense. Next question. You mentioned give me your best guess from the PDF. I mean, the PDF they're in order, Like it's not like they're just random pages. So it's probably just guessing on the system of pages in the PDF and then figuring out if that's the right arrangement or if it's a different arrangement. Like, does it start with one on its own and then go two, three, four, five, six and seven, eight and nine? Or uh, does it go forward and backward because of some other reason? I don't know. That is probably not helpful. Yeah. Yeah, exactly, and then I will tell you which ones are panoramic. If you just, like, put them out into, um if you put them out in the spreads on the thing, then what I'll do is I will then you set up some panels for panoramics. What I'll do is I'll just quickly drag them out into, like, the left and right side of each panorama for you. How does that sound? Here's the state of things. No remote. Okay. Thing is local only. That's fine. Um, yeah, no, I don't think we should remote it. I forgot, it's my resume, so it doesn't need to be like public like that. I just want to make sure we're committed and it's all good. Just like a relationship. Okay, background is the odd one out in the destination list. Yeah, exactly. Meet the fear. Yeah, exactly. Open to the bottom. Yeah. Yeah, let's start with the background one. But I'm just a little unsure about the idea of it being fixed to the background. Um, I actually don't know if the layer ordering matters anymore. The reason I put the drag handles in and wanted them there was because I wanted it to be easy to uh like reorder big groups of color, but now that there's only 6, I think the drag handle doesn't matter. Um, so it would just be defining colors in and out and sending them to destinations and that's it. Um, the thing is I want people to be it's not that one is per destination, it's that I want people to be able to drag one to multiple destinations. Um, so in terms of what the colors are then, I think we could get rid of add color and the the trash can, and then we get rid of the drag handles, and instead, inside, what we have is an in socket for the LFO, the color swatch, uh, and then paintbrush. And is there a way in Coloris, to select nothing? Or do we need a separate button that lets you just, like, clear that color? Or, like I mean, I guess it doesn't matter either because, um, if it's not assigned to anything, it's just not assigned to anything. And just we could have, like, a reset button or something. I'm on the fence. I'd like your thoughts on that. Alrighty. I think we've set up that we were gonna do the interview next. But can you tell me what else is on the menu right now? 6 of those always visible, fixed height, no add, no trash, no drag handles. You connect a color to destinations by yeah, disconnect by um yeah, you disconnect by clicking the socket on the destination side, and I suppose we could consider it with like a key modifier or a right click on the connection side or the plug side, but I'm not sure if that's messy. Yeah, it's just clicking on it clears it entirely for sure. And then I think we can have two colors by default, red and black, and then all the other colors should be the color of uh, the UI by default. So it's just really subtle. Okay, presentation plan, button engine refactor, remove ASCII playground from the desktop, rename books to bookshelf, remove Lego and cat mods. Yeah. Um, add movement styles, butterfly flutter. Yeah. Um, yeah, sounds good. So do you think it makes sense for us to just do the cleanup items before the refactor? Um, does it make sense to just get those out of the way while we've got a little time before the interview? Or should we write them into a plan or something? What's best? Okay, that's clean. Let me make sure of the full picture before we plan this. 6 fixed color row slots. Yes. Row layout. No add, trash, or drag handles. Yes. Slot 1, red, assigned to text. Slot 2, black, default assigned to. Slot 2 is black and its default assigned to background. I think shadow, inner glow, and outer glow. Um, I'm just thinking out loud here, but what would be really amazing with this is if you could drop an image and it would sample that image and recolor your UI, or if there was a button that just generated random color palettes, but they were really nice, that always like took into account like a certain bit of, well, actually, I don't know, maybe it just does it. Um, but you could do it by either dropping an image in or um, just generating the color. So maybe that goes into the space um, where add color is, and it just says like drop image. Um, I know that's a whole other thing. And the garbage can would be the dice button. Um, let's just think about that for right now. I don't want to lose it. But for right now, let's just keep going with the plan we just discussed. So Um, I would say we probably want something in all of the layers, or sorry, in all of the color destinations. I just don't want it to be like crazy, too crazy unless you've set the thing. So um, let's just make them um, different shades of uh, gray and black. Yeah, great question about background. I think background um, needs to be a regular slot. And to be honest, I don't know what the color of the synth background is, or the control panel background is going to be like, if I want that to be adjustable or not. But maybe, and that would be a seventh thing. Um, and maybe they have like a little label or something. Um, since they don't really have destinations, it would be like display. So there'd be like background, and it would be like display and control. Um, they could get LFOs in, but they can't send the color anywhere. And I think though, if you like drag a color to another color, it should copy that color to the color you dragged it to. So background should start as black. Um, it should be red. Then outline should be uh, let's say I'm gonna say white. No, it can't be white. That would ruin your eyes. So we'll put outline in as medium gray, inner glow, outer glow as a light gray, shadow as red at 50% opacity, or actually make shadow 50% brightness. And then, yes, the shared faders always edit the selected slot, and the values in the drag boxes always represent the selected slot, and uh, the LFO destinations always reflect the selected slot. So the color card itself is a representation of what's happening with the selected color slot. And what would be even better is if, while you're moving the color around in the colorist color picker, that the color card values are updating while you're doing that. Okay. Most of the cleanup items touch the same code. Okay, good. Oh, I see. All right. Um, am I ready for the interview? I think so. I've been streaming for an hour. I think I'll go do this interview. Um, Yes, please. Okay. Maybe tomorrow I'll hop on and show people the spread mapper and how I'm building this tool to like compose the layouts for my art books and magazines online without it being a horrific nightmare for me to do myself. So far, it's doing really good. It did a really good job with my art books, 2 out of 3. And the only reason the third one hasn't done is because I haven't found it yet. Oh, okay. All clean, working tree is empty, everything's committed. You got 4 commits ahead of your main. Ready to merge those into main, just say the word. Great. Um, yeah, let's do it. hmm 6 fixed color slots, these defaults. Default color, red text, black background, medium gray outline, light gray, inner glow, outer glow. Okay. I think shadow should also be um not. I think it should be red at 50% brightness, so a dark red. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Display control. Oh no, I think we should build the display control background um as their own destinations in this. And uh yeah, I just think it's easy to do. And um we can just put them either we can just put them at the bottom of the list in their own little two slot rows or two row card, you know? Oh, okay. Mm, mm, no, not quite. So number 2 slot, black default destination background doesn't exist because the background um, isn't a destination anymore. So the control background is a destination, and that's just the color behind all the UI panels. Uh, it's not really a destination; it's a color picker in the on the color panel that we're designing. Just like display background. Display background is the background behind the text in the display area. And that's not really a destination either. It's also just a color picker. Um, and these two are going to live together underneath a little label that says, um, I think it needs to say background or something like that, um, so that it's obvious. Uh, it's obvious that they're a little different. Um, yeah, maybe what we do is we replace the paintbrush icons for them with labels, and one says uh, DIS, and the other one says like BG. or sorry, like CTR or something like that. And there's a little, um, maybe a little label above this card that says background, you know, between this card and the other color list. So it would actually be only um, 7 slots, 5 and 2. Oh, good. Good stuff. Okay. Okay. And all pages laid out as spreads the way a viewer would show them. Yeah. Small thumbnails, magazine, listed panoramic pair slots. Yeah. Okay. Output. Um, yeah, let's just drag copies into the panoramic slots. And I'm not sure if this makes sense as side by side columns or top and bottom section, like you're saying, but let's try it and see what happens. Edits, selected, lost, shared. So the colors panel at the top would be shared, fader card, edit selected slot, 5 color rows, background divider, label, 2 background rows. Yep, you bet, you nailed it. Oh yeah. So listen, if you show these as a grid of photos that are side by side, it's going to get really confusing. So what I recommend instead is that you show pairs in a single column. So it's like the spreads are on top of each other, and I only see one. Uh, so I only have to look at like one spread per row. That way, it avoids any type of visual confusion. Then in the second column, you can put a whole bunch of panorama photo slots. And so um, as I scroll down and I identify a panorama photo, I just drag it over to that slot and I can drag out the matching one later. Does that make sense? Yeah. We're good to build that. Oh, okay. Mm-hmm. 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 Let's see. Oh, API error. Come on, Anthropic. Looks like you had an API error there. Let's hope this is not happening right now. And guys, good stuff, good stuff, good stuff. That's what we want to hear. Okay, I'm gonna go away. I'm gonna stop streaming and I'm gonna go drink some water and then I'm gonna sit down and do this interview. I hope that you liked Button. If you think it's fun. Uh, did you think today was fun? Connection error. You little goofball. What's up? Show me a book. Hmm, the bookshelf. Really? I bet you none of these books work right now. How about you show me the mountain forecast? Oh, doesn't even work right now? You little rascal. Are any of these working? What about Twitter? No, doesn't work. You're going in the fire. Get out of here. All right, the end. Thanks, everybody. Oh, okay, really quick. I'll show you this. Let's just see what happens. No config. This is what it said. I tried loading Skate 5. Yep, this looks good. Just want you to make sure that you're following the same rules in CSS as like the other cards. And that never mind. I'm not even gonna say it. I'm not even gonna say it. Looks good. Okay. Good job. All right. So we have panoramic pairs. Um, this is dope. Okay. Nice. This is really cool. Could you make the thumbnails twice as big, please? I wonder if it. No. Okay. So it just absolutely nailed the order of the magazine. How will it do? Oh, and the panoramic pairs shouldn't be two landscape photos side by side. They should be the same as the picture thumbnails because they're the same orientation and I'm going to pair them up and they need to have more padding between them. So it should be very similar to the um the left side. And also don't give me an add panoramic pair button. You should just always give me an extra panoramic pair slot. As soon as I use one, a new slot should open up. And actually, what would be I th- mm, yeah, and these pages should essentially like roughly align with the pages on the left. I don't even want to look at that until you're done, but I am going to look at it. Okay, this is good, but the middle should be draggable. Looks like we got a little API error 500 there from Anthropic. Okay. Well,